Guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, and we're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Wednesday, February 6th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. Say what up, Jeremy. How you doing, bro?
Hey, did you get the notification that we just went live? I didn't get that.
I think so, yeah.
All right, cool. Just want to make sure. Hey, real quick before we get into it, man, this could change by the time a lot of people watch this video first thing in the morning, but I just want to recap a couple of things really quick. First of all, trade deadline coming up Thursday. We'll probably hop on and do something with the trade deadline, I'm sure. But as of right now, the Rockets are offering Brandon Knight and a first-round pick for Alec Burks. That seems to be a trade that's in the works that Houston is trying to pull off. The Lakers heavily involved in two trades right now. They want to send Savisalov for Reggie Bullock, and that looks like that may get done, and a second-round pick. And they're also engaged with the Bulls to get Jabari Parker for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Michael Beasley. The Grizzlies, very interesting. We saw Gasol scratch. We were doing the NBA Live video. I said to you, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go. He's on the block. He didn't actually come out of the locker room until halftime and join their bench. Got a standing ovation. His locker is cleared out. His locker is not there, according to reporters. He's being offered to the Hornets. It sounds like they have a deal in place. Look for him to be on the move sometime tomorrow. A trade that did not go down today was, and this is a report, it's an ESPN report. The Raptors earlier today offered Kyle Lowry and Valanciunas for Gasol and Conley, and I guess they passed on that. That's a report coming that I read on ESPN. Minnesota looking for numerous deals right now. The Jazz want Mike Conley.
Wait. The Raptors offered
Kyle Lowry and Valanciunas for Gasol and Conley.
Oh, that would have been a steal for the Raptors.
That would have been a steal for the Raptors. I'm glad to see that they didn't pull the trigger on that because they're going to get good value out of each piece, Gasol and Conley separately. Yeah. Minnesota looking for numerous trade deals at the moment. The Jazz want Mike Conley, and then the Celtics came out and said they will not include Jason Tatum for Anthony Davis, and I think that, like we talked about this morning, that adds all kinds of leverage back to the Lakers because you have to take Kyrie Irving, who has a player option, and you have to take Al Horford, who has a player option, out of any potential trade. And the biggest piece for the Celtics to move for Anthony Davis would be picks and Jason Tatum. And if Tatum's off the table, to me, all they've got is picks and a collection of really bench players to fill out. So that's kind of where we're at with the trade news. I want to make sure I got that on the recap for those guys who are watching tonight. That could change by the time they wake up, in the morning and see it. But I thought there were some really interesting things there, especially Alec Burks. That's a deal that kind of makes sense. It's a pick and a first round pick and Knight, who's not playing, for Burks, who's a really good player right now. I thought was really interesting. I don't think the Lakers need Reggie Bullock. It just seems like they're trying to accumulate pieces to make a better deal for Anthony Davis. But maybe a three-way trade gets done.
I like Jabari Parker though. If we could get him, I like Parker.
Oh, he's a scoring post, right? He's a four that can score. So I think the most interesting thing is Minnesota's looking for deals after they've already pulled a deal for Butler and got back Covington and Saric. They're trying to find deals. They're currently 11th in the standings, and they're clearly trying to put something together to make a playoff run. But Mike Conley to the Jazz, you have to wonder what comes back. Do they dump Rubio? Does Rubio now become kind of a journeyman in the NBA? If that happens. And then the last thing I do want to mention as well, the Knicks have said that they are going to move. They're planning to move either Wesley Matthews or DeAndre Jordan before Thursday.
Yeah, bro, I ain't doing nothing with the boy Cantor, man. That's disappointing me, man.
It is very disappointing.
All right, you ready to talk some basketball?
Yeah, one last thing since we got Sacramento on the slate. Sacramento has said they're going to make moves. They think they're a playoff team. And the one rumor that's around them is Zach Randolph going to New York for Enes Kanter. So that's one to look out for also.
All right, for sure. Yeah, I want to see Cantor just go somewhere he's gonna get a chance to play, man. But yeah, man. Hey, we're gonna jump into this 7-game slate real quick before we do. If you guys don't mind, please take that quick second for me. Click that like button down below. That helps me out a lot, and I appreciate you guys doing that. And yeah, man. So let's jump into it. So the first game we're gonna go with is gonna be the Denver Nuggets going into Brooklyn to face the Nets. This game has actually we're waiting on some injury news, so we don't have an over under or a Vegas line yet in this game.
Paul Millsap, the game time decision. Obviously, if he sits, Mason Plumlee at 5,000 is in a crush spot again, as well as Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles, $800 price increase, but still at 4.5, a very good value play without a Paul Millsap, where he'll get some extended run. I love Will Barton at 5.5. Monte Morris continues to deliver. 6.4 is a very fair price for a guy if he's going to start at point guard, if in fact Jamal Murray does get ruled out. And then Jokic, a little bit of a price decrease. We love centers going against Brooklyn. Brooklyn, a very competitive basketball team. They're in the playoffs as of right now in the East. They play hard. If I were to pick 5 teams that I just thought played really hard and have given themselves a chance to make the playoffs this year, Brooklyn will be the top of that list. They just play hard. They're very competitive. So this game, I look for this game to be competitive for the vast majority of it, and I think there's good fantasy value on both sides of it.
Yeah, man. On the net side of things, Nets are like one of those teams. They're getting healthy right now. They're kind of like Miami. How we always talk about with Miami, they got a bunch of solid guys in multiple positions, and there's kind of like a logjam. So these guys they all play 25 to 27 minutes. Nobody really gets 30 minutes. One guy that we know always gets his minutes for the most part is D'Angelo Russell. He's their best player. Whenever you want to talk about the Nets, you always got to start with him. I mean, the guy has the ultimate green light to take as many shots as he wants, basically. He usually plays, 30 to 32 minutes a game. And we know he has his upside. I definitely think he is a GPP play because Denver has been a pretty good defensive team this season. But I definitely think he is going to be the best play on the Nets. Another guy that's been playing very well, Shabazz Napier. I told you the other day if he started playing and he had a solid game, nothing crazy, but he got you 29 fantasy points, hit value for you. Definitely can't complain right there. I definitely think he's in play. He's a guy that really like to give minutes to. And then you got, these other guys like Hollis Jefferson. He's cheap, but he hasn't really been doing nothing. Joe Harris. Yeah, for me, it's really just going to be, honestly, Russell and maybe a little bit of Napier in GPPs. I think you can maybe look at Carroll a little bit, but he hasn't really had a real upside game. He's sharing some minutes. So, yeah, I mean, do you like anybody on the Brooklyn side?
I mean, I think you covered it, really. I mean, I think you covered it. You talk about Russell. I'm not going to play Jared Allen here. If you play Jared Allen, it's tournament only, and right. Kirkus, however you want to say his name, it's not enough, right? It's just not enough, and I don't like the matchup here, honestly.
All right, for sure. Well, let's just move on then. Next game that we're going to go with is going to be the Washington Wizards going into Milwaukee to face the Bucks. This game has a 230 over-under, and Milwaukee's favored by 11.5 in this one.
I mean, it's Bradley Beal, really. I mean, it's Bradley Beal and Satoransky. I don't like the matchups. The most intriguing play for me in this spot is Thomas Bryant. If he's going to give me 20 minutes at 4,000, I'm very tempted to play him, especially in tournaments at $4,000. You take a look around the slate. There's some things that outside of Okafor, Rudy Gobert against Phoenix, where is the center play going to come from? You talk about Jokic against Brooklyn. I think Thomas Bryant is probably the 4th best option on this slate. So in tournaments, I think it's fine to get exposure to him. Trevor Ariza at 6.4, the guy's playing really well right now. That's about all you need to say about that. 16.4, 4.2 rebounds. The guy blocks shots. He gets steals. He had 40 fantasy points again last night. I like Ariza a lot. I can't pay for Satoransky right now. I'm not going against his Bucks team. The only position that they allow more points than average to is the small forward spot. So that's Trevor Ariza. Outside of that, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, man. On the Bucks,
just because people will make a comment, I'll mention Jordan McRae. If you want to play Jordan McRae and chase the points from the other night, go ahead. But it's a GPP play only.
Yeah, on the Bucks side of things, I mean, you look at the same people we always talk about. Bledsoe, 7,500. The guy's been playing well, gives you a solid floor. Antetokounmpo, I mean, he's probably the MVP, the running up MVP candidate right now. Him and James Harden right there. Anytime he's on the slate, you got to consider him. 11.9 can get you a triple double. It's just really, with the Bucks, it's if you think it's going to stay close or whatnot. If it's going to stay close, at least for 3/4, and they play some of the fourth, you can definitely look at these guys. But if you feel it's going to be, a blowout, and they're not really going to play the fourth at all, that's when it makes it a little bit tougher for, a guy 12,000 price tag. Definitely think he's in play either way. Middleton under 7,000, 6,700. In my opinion, he's the second best player on this team. The guy, he gives you a soft floor. He's playing well. I really like Middleton in this spot. I think he's probably my favorite Buck. Great price right there. I like him for cash games. And then, Brogdon. Brogdon, he comes in. He's the backup point guard, starts a shooting guard. These guys are just very consistent. Honestly, I never mind playing the Bledsoe, Middleton, or Brogdon. They always get you at least 25. They all have 40 fantasy point upside. This is going to be an up-tempo game with Washington. So I really like those four guys. And the other guy I'll throw in, you were talking about him the other day, this guy DJ Williams. He's starting to get – or DJ Wilson. He's starting to get – 22, 23 minutes a game, bare minimum price. You need, if he gets you a 25 fantasy point game, you'll definitely take that as a minimum price tag. So he could be a kind of a GPP flyer you could throw in. But yeah, that's really where I'm at with Milwaukee.
Bro, I heard when I drive a lot, right? And when I'm driving in the mornings, I usually listen to NBA radio on Sirius, and they're talking about this dude DJ Wilson, and they're talking about Milwaukee, and they interviewed the GM, and they are super high on Wilson, man. Like they think this kid is a complete mismatch. They're talking, I mean, he's got a long way to go to be Giannis, but they're talking about the skill set he has. Is they drafted him because he mirrored the same skill set Giannis had as a big who could knock the three down, move very fluidly, very athletic, etc. They're high on him. I look for his minutes to continue to go up. I will say Bledsoe's torch Washington this year. They just played a couple days ago. He missed one of those games. I believe he missed the January game, or did he? Let me look. I'll pop that open real quick. He may have missed the most recent game, but I think he went for 46. He did. Okay, so he missed the game that was just a couple days ago, but on the 11th of January this year, 46.1. He's played very well against these guys. Very well against these guys.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think he's a really good play. Moving on, next game we're going to go with is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans going into Chicago to face the Bulls. This game, we don't have an over-under or Vegas line yet either. So definitely get us started with the Pelicans side of things.
Look, I'm going to continue to go with Kenrich Williams. I've been mentioning this guy since nobody knew who the hell he was about a week ago. Keep playing this guy. 5.4 is very fair. He delivered 34 fantasy points the other night at 4.9. He could deliver for you on 5.4. If he starts, that's going to be what happens. Anthony Davis listed as a game-time decision by New Orleans. This is all part of this chess game they're playing with trading him or not trading him. He's not playing. They've already said he's more – the beat writers in the area have said he's doubtful and they don't expect him to play. Julius Randle, they listed him the same way. If anybody's going to play, it's going to be Randle. It's not going to be Anthony Davis. So if Williams does start, load him up again and feel comfortable doing it. You have to like Okafor in this spot. You have to like Okafor a lot in this spot. If Anthony Davis doesn't play and Randle does, Okafor will be the first guy that slides in the starting lineup. And then again, look, Frank Jackson, 3.7. He did it the other night. It happens. Go right back to the guy at 3.7. He's getting the run and he's produced, except for the dud he put up, the other night. So that's kind of where I'm at with New Orleans.
Yeah, man. On the Bulls side of things, I mean, there's three guys that I think that you could really look at. First, you got Chris Dunn. Price has dropped a little bit. Yeah, his production has been down a little bit. He's just been, having a little bit of a rough stretch, from the field. He's a guy that definitely fills up the stat sheet. As you can see, he averages almost 5 assists a game, 4 rebounds. It's all about when he's shooting the ball well. When he's shooting the ball well, he gets you really, really good fantasy outings. 6,600, like I said, price dropped a little bit. He was about 73, 7,400 last time I checked. So I definitely think he's in play for GPPs. You got Zach Levine, 7,300. I mean, the guy's been playing very well all season. Yes, the usage has been down a little bit with Chris Dunn back, but the guy still gets, as many shots as he wants, plays a ton of minutes. He is their best scorer on the team, so I definitely think that you could use him for GPPs. And lastly, this guy, I mean, people don't notice how good this guy really is. In marketing, this guy's a baller. He's very, very consistent. You can pretty much almost count on a double-double any night. He's right there. The guy can shoot the ball very well, hits threes. I mean, and look what this guy does. I mean, in the past 6 games, he's got you at least 31 fantasy points. He just gives you a really, really solid floor. He's going to be a guy that's low owned. The Pelicans, they're playing some dudes that they're kind of smaller dudes. So I definitely think this is a game that he can, excel in for sure. That's really it for me. It's just really Levine, Dunn, marketing. We talked about it with Jabari Parker. He's on the trade block. So one thing, I do want people to be very careful this week when you are playing DFS, because it happens. You can have a guy in your lineup and 10 minutes later he gets traded and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's really just how it is on trade week. So I would definitely just be very careful when you're playing some guys that you hear kind of, thinking about getting traded or whatnot. So yeah, man, that's really where I'm at with Chicago.
Move on.
Next game we're going with, it's Charlotte Hornets going into Dallas to face the Mavericks. This game has a 216.5 over/under, and Dallas is favored by 5 in this one.
Speaking of being careful, we just talked about, we opened the video with Gasol could be on the move. Make sure that you figure out what's going to happen. The only piece here that's safe is Kemba Walker. Jeremy Lamb is probably another guy that I think is safe. Outside of that, their roster is wide open to be moved. I could literally see them moving Batum, Marvin Williams. I could see moving a whole host of guys because they have Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, very solid defender that they could play on the perimeter. The guy can start. He's been a starter in the league before. So, be careful with what, watching news on this. I'm not on anybody here, to be honest with you. I'm not going to chase Kemba Walker's 60-point game. He has those every so often. He plays much better at home. We know that than he does on the road. This is, going into Dallas. I'm not. Jeremy Lamb is probably the one spot that I actually like at 5.5. I think it's a very fair price for Lamb, 5.5. Zeller, continue to watch what's going on with him. If he's going to play and he's going to get minutes, this is a good spot for Zeller, to be honest with you. There's not a center on Dallas's roster right now outside of Merige. So, this will be a good spot for Zeller. The guy's a really good rebounder. And he's really explosive. So if he's healthy and he's going to play and get minutes, I don't mind Zeller here. But I'm not going to chase Walker, and Jeremy Lamb's probably my only play here.
Yeah, here on the Dallas side of things, I mean, always whenever Doncic is on the slate, you could consider him. The guy's been playing very, very well. Got his first triple-double, a couple of games ago. The guy's definitely filling up the stat sheet. They got this guy running the point guard right now. They're giving this guy the ultimate reins. Here you go. Take care of the team. The usage is out of control. I really like him. I definitely think he's a good play. And then, we were getting the value in Max Kepler at 38,900, and we were getting the Dwight Powells at 3,800. Now they're all priced up 5,500. Kepler's 5,200. I think Kepler's still in play. I think he's a solid play. Harrison Barnes, 5,900. He's a guy that, he's not new to the team. So, I mean, he's just going to come out and chuck out some shots. We know what he's going to do. The one guy I'm interested in is Tim Hardaway. He's going to slide into the start and roll. 6,100. That's a fair price tag, we know, for Tim Hardaway. But I just don't know. It's his first game. If he's going to come out and be a little bit timid, I don't want to be kind of ball hogging my first game with my new team. So I think with him, I'm going to kind of take maybe a game wait and see approach. Definitely think if you're playing 150 lines, max anywhere tournament, you could throw him in 1 or 2 lines. I definitely think that, that he can have, some monster upside in the first game, come out and they can, be feeding him the ball like, hey, get yours. And I definitely, it could go either way. So I definitely think he's interesting. I'm not really going to play any of these guys on the bench, to be honest with you. Possibly, Brunson, he's playing some minutes, 4,100. His price tag hasn't really went up yet. But yeah, I'm not really too interested in none of the bench guys. It's really just Kleber, Doncic, and maybe Tim Hardaway and a couple of GPPs. Finney Smith, 4,200. I know he's in the starting lineup, but the guy just hasn't really been doing nothing. I mean, his best game he had was like 26, 27 fantasy points in a good little while. So, I mean, I got to see him do something before I really want to play him in my lineups. So that's really it for me with the Mavericks.
Look, the most interesting thing about this is that Doncic is now their point guard. That's the most interesting thing about this whole situation. I mean, they were playing him as a power forward, and now Doncic is their starting point guard.
But he can do it, though.
Absolutely, he can. It's the most interesting thing about it.
Yeah, and he's humongous.
Yep.
Yeah. No, for sure. But hey, his usage is going to be crazy now, bro. It's like the Westbrook usage.
Right.
All right. Moving on. Next game we're going to go with is going to be the Phoenix Suns going into Utah to face the Jazz. This game has a 221 over under, and the Utah Jazz are favored by 14.5 in this one.
Real quick, I'll say what's up to Dwayne. Dwayne's always up in here, man. Dwayne's a loyal follower. I don't want anything to do with this Phoenix side of things. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've looked at game logs. I've looked at the matchup. I just don't. I don't think you need to go here. I just don't think you need to go here with Phoenix exposure. Booker's a game time decision, and if he doesn't play, tell me where the fair price bargain falls. Oubre's 6'8", Okobo, I guess, but everybody else is priced up. I mean, Ayton at 7'4" hasn't played well. Actually, he hasn't played against Utah, but it's Rudy Gobert. Josh Jackson's priced all the way up to 6'4". He's the biggest beneficiary of Booker being out. I can't get behind Phoenix. Not right now. I can't.
Yeah, bro. I think that this game is just going to be absolute blowout, just slaughter. I mean, are we agreeing on that?
I just can't find it, man. I can't find it in this one.
They're going to be without Booker, without Warren. They're without all their top players. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to do with the Jazz. I just think that it's going to be a blowout. Pretty much 8,900, pretty much 9,000 for Gobert. You need 45 for value. He's going to be able to play enough in this game to be able to hit his value. I'm not really looking at him. You just talked about Rubio and the whole trade situation. Joe Ingles, 5,600. I mean, he's a fair price tag. He's a guy that gets his minutes. He has some upside when he's shooting the ball well. I think he's a GPP play. Donovan Mitchell, hey, he's been doing Donovan Mitchell stuff. And 8,800, the price tag's up there. You need about 44 for value. He could definitely get you there. But I was liking him a lot more when he was the point guard when Rubio was out. Right now, usage is down a little bit. And you really just need him to score the ball to kind of get you there. So, I mean, I don't know what to do with the Jazz. I mean, what do you think about the Jazz?
This game to me is a complete fade. Unless, look, Gasol missed the first. I mean, he was ruled out, but he wasn't on the bench for the first half, right? So they're clearly about to move Gasol. They're in talks about Conley. The Jazz want Conley. If Ricky Rubio's included in that deal and that pops up tomorrow, then I think value happens. That's the only way that you can get me to come over here and get a piece of this game. I'm just being honest with you. I don't see any way possible that I get any exposure to any of this tomorrow. There's too much value in the late game with San Antonio. They're going to get blown out by Golden State, and there's going to be guys who are going to get extended run. There's too much value there for me to want to get anything to do with this game.
Bro, I know this is a stupid question, but do you really think that Mike Conley is that much of an upgrade from Ricky Rubio?
Yes.
Think so?
Ricky Rubio's a good passer, man. Ricky Rubio's a really good passer. But
one thing I do want to quickly say is what makes sense to me, though, and the more I think about it, is one thing the Jazz lack is scoring. I mean, they just got Donovan Mitchell, and like you said, Rubio's a really good passer, and Mike Conley's been shooting the ball well, averaging 20 points. So it does make sense for me. It gives them an extra scoring threat, on the perimeter.
Mike Conley's a good passer too. I mean, we've seen Mike Conley have monster games. It's always about Mike Conley's health. But if Utah thinks that Mike Conley, Mike Conley would upgrade them, but here's the deal. If Utah's going to be the 6th or 7th seed in the West, Mike Conley might get them the 5th. Okay, right. and maybe they get to the second round. I just look, they're not the defensive team they were in the past. I get it, but I mean Mike Conley gets more out of this than the Jazz do. I guess that's my point.
Yeah, for sure.
We're moving on?
Yep, moving on. Next game we're going to go with is going to be the Houston Rockets going into Sacramento to face the Kings. This game has a 233.5 over under, and Houston's favored by 2.5 in this one.
Can you pay $14,000 for Harden tomorrow?
I'm going to be honest, bro. Like, we're going through these games, and now we're about to get to the last game. And this slate is kind of like, that's just kind of how I feel now about it a little bit.
Look, there's going to be a good game that's played in Brooklyn. That should be a good game, okay? There's some value to get with New Orleans. There's some value to get with San Antonio. You have to look at this Houston-Sacramento game as the marquee game of the night. It's a 2-point spread. It's in Sacramento. I've witnessed myself. I've been there and seen James Harden do nuts things in Sacramento. That was without Chris Paul. The first guy I'm going to hit is Chris Paul, 7.6. This is a very fair price tag on Chris Paul. We just have to see what the minutes limit is going to be. If he's going to play 30 minutes at 7.6 tomorrow, lock him in, man. That's a really good play. I think he had 38 fantasy points at 7.3 in their last game. And then Fareed, I think it's a good spot for Fareed also. 8,000 on this slate. I had to see what happens with Julius Randle because I really do want to keep getting exposure to Marvin Bagley. This is a guy that we've been high on for a long time. We were big on him yesterday. The dude went absolutely bonkers. Power forwards have done well here. So, you got to start looking. If Fareed's going to be their center, Willie Cauley-Stein's going to kind of occupy Fareed. It's a good spot for Marvin Bagley to move around in.
Yeah, for sure. On the Kings side, man, I just think that, De'Aaron Fox, the guy's been playing very, very well. I think if he was in the East, he probably would have had a good chance to be an All-Star this year.
Hey, bro, I just want to say one thing. I don't want to cut you up. I want to say one thing. Yesterday, you said, well, now 2 days ago, because we're on the next day, but when Sacramento last played, you said if you're going to look at anybody, they're the hottest player right now is Buddy Hield. He's shooting the ball nuts, right? He came right out the other night, and he knocked like his first 4 threes down. You got Chris Paul. I'm De'Aaron Fox. To me, you got to look at Buddy Hield here.
Yeah, no, bro, trust me. Hey, Buddy Hield, he's one of them guys. He's super streaky, and he's honestly my favorite play on the King side. It's him and it's Fox. But a thing about Fox is 8,000. I really like the price tag on Fox because he was like 8,500. And I just think I like both of them. I like both of the guards. One of them is going to be guarded by Harden, and that we know that kind of defense that we're going to get. I really like the guards right here. Cauley-Stein, I think that he's definitely in play as well. He has kind of a trend. He has a good game, bad game, good game, bad game. And hey, he had his bad game last game. This game going against he's the center going against the Rockets. We just talked about it. Fareed is the center. I think he could dominate down low. I think that this is a game that Willie Cauley-Stein could really have a good game. 40 fantasy point upside at a 5,900 price tag. The guy's under 6,000. We need about 29 for value. He's averaging 30 on the season. I think that Cauley-Stein is a really, really good play as well. And, hey, the more we're getting into this game, I think you're absolutely right. I think that this is the game that you're really going to want to get your exposure from on both sides for sure. Because there's a lot of really –
I'm going to tell you one thing, bro. I'm going to tell you one thing. It's okay to be early, all right? We loaded up in tournaments 2 nights ago, Willie Cauley-Stein. We love the 6,100 price tag. Didn't quite pay off, didn't quite work out, and then we ended up coming off Willie Cauley-Stein because of the news with Mason Plumlee and Paul Millsap. Bro, early, wrong. I think you're right. This is a crush spot for Willie Cauley-Stein at 5'9".
Yeah, bro, it's cheap, and it's going to be an up-and-down game. I like him a lot. And then a couple more guys just quickly I want to mention. I like a couple.
Hey, real quick, the Lakers have traded that trade I mentioned, they have acquired Reggie Bullock for Slavislav Makuyelek, whatever his name is. So Reggie Bullock is on his way to the Lakers. Just broke now.
But that was a stupid. Like, I don't know why we did that. Like, it never makes sense to me.
It's a bench upgrade. I'm telling you, they're just trying to make moves, bro, so they can upgrade their bench, and they're gonna make a deal for Davis. The more you look at it, bro, come on, tell me, who can actually give New Orleans anything?
Right. No, I get you for sure. Let's get through this game real quick, and then we can talk about that at the end. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, we just talked about it. We got Cauley Stein, Fox, Buddy Hield. I think they're all in play. Shumpert, he's one of those sneaky guys where he does have some upside. In 2 of the past 4 games, he scored at least 30 fantasy points. That's 6, almost 7x on this price tag. And then you can look at, you mentioned Marvin Bagley. I think this is a very good spot for him as well. I like the bigs for the Kings. I think that the bigs are in a good spot. This guy, Harry Giles, as well. He's a sneaky play. He's a guy that's been given minutes to 3.9. 20, 15, 14. Yeah, we want to see him play, close more to 20 minutes. But I think he's a good punt play. The guy's very, very active when he's in there at a 3.9 price tag. And then you always got to throw in Bogdanovich. 5.4, his price tag's down. Yes, he hasn't, been playing so well the past couple games. But hey, I'm going to throw out the past couple games. I'm just going to look at the overall season. And the guy's having a very, very good season. 5.4 reduced price tag. I think he's definitely a play in the up-tempo game. And that's really it for me with the Kings.
Moving on.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you the bad part, bro, is about this game is everybody's out. Like, what's up with that, man? That's whack.
That's Hey, that's your boy. That's your boy, dude. That's your boy Popovich, man. That's
so we got San Antonio Spurs going into Golden State Warriors to face.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you something funny, bro. And this has been true over the years, right? This has been true over the years. So, I coach football, and our number one rival, they will not play us. They won't throw against us in the summertime. Like, they will not throw against us in the summertime. They only want to play us on the field, regular football. Like, they won't throw against us. And I've always said they won't do it because they don't want our kids to get any confidence against them, right? Like, they're this big, bad team. They win the league every year, et cetera, et cetera. That's exactly what Popovich does to the Warriors. He always sits every single time that the Warriors and the Spurs play. For the last 3 years, he set out his players and let the Warriors wax them. And if you remember last year, they went to San Antonio and Steve Kerr did it. He set Thompson, Curry, and Draymond Green.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So Popovich, this is a Popovich game right here. It's rest reasons, wear and tear at DeRozan. We're going to sit him out. Derek White, we know, is out for the next couple of weeks. Aldridge, it's a mind thing so that his team can't actually say if they play in the playoffs, like, oh, now we're full strength. Oh, now we're full strength. Let's go get the Warriors. We've never played in full strength. The funny thing is that with Aldridge and DeRozan out, it's only an 11-point spread, which I think is a closer spread than Phoenix and Utah is. And Phoenix is a full team without, minus TJ Warren, one guy. Yeah. So anyway, the only guys I can get behind here are Bertans, Mills, and Bryn Forbes. I can't get behind Rudy Gay because the guy's gone through injuries throughout the year. If the game gets out of hand, Rudy Gay is definitely going to get one of the first guys to get set down. Pau Gasol is old, and I can't see Pau Gasol running out there and getting a lot of time. I think Pirtle is an absolutely unbelievable marquee play tomorrow in this spot with Aldridge already ruled out. The only other big guy they got is Gasol. Gasol is not going to play more than 25 minutes. If the game blows out, I don't see Gasol playing in the second half. This is one of those games where Golden State could put up 60, 70 points in the first half, and it could be done. And then, you've got guys who you're going to roll out there, and one of them is going to be Pirtle. The other one's going to be Chimezie Muto. He'll get run in the fourth quarter. But Patty Mills coming off the bench, you look for him to get, first quarter, second quarter, maybe third quarter run. And Pirtle is going to get run in this game, and I think it's a really good spot for him to get a double-double.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't even know what you want me to say about the Warriors, to be honest. I mean, you can play all 5 of the starters. They're all fairly priced. But, hey, man, these guys are not going to play very long in this game. They're going to play 3.5 quarters. They're gonna finish.
That's enough. But that's enough. We've seen that in the past. That's enough for the Warriors to get value, and I think The one thing I'm gonna say, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the one thing I'm gonna say is these Warriors are going to be very contrarian, and two of them I think are very playable in Draymond and DeMarcus Cousins. Even Klay Thompson. I think those three guys are probably the most playable because they're mid-tier plays. But you said it best. They play 3 quarters still. They're going to blow you out and play 3 quarters, and that's what you're going to get out of them.
Right. No, and I could get behind those guys, all those guys. I mean, even like Curry for what he does and Durant, they're all fair price. Like, you know, I mean, you can play. I wouldn't mind even picking one of them, throwing them in some cash games and being comfortable with that. But I just don't know if I can really get behind like the stack tomorrow. You know, going against the Warriors with everybody out. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. One guy, actually 2 guys that I like coming off the bench, especially if we think it's going to be a blowout. I like Kevon Looney. The guy's been playing very well all year. 4.8 is still a very fair price tag for him. And I also like this guy, Alfonso McKenzie. This guy is one of the first couple guys coming off the bench every single game. He's been getting some minutes for the most part. You know, this game it was a blowout against. Was it? No, I lied. This game he got more run. That was the game that Klay Thompson was out. But either way, I think this is a guy that could definitely get some run tomorrow at bare minimum price tag. I definitely just think you could throw him in a couple of lineups as a GPP flyer. If it doesn't work out, he's your drop spot, bare minimum. But yeah, I mean, the Warriors, I really don't know what to do with them. Just knowing the fact that, you know, all the starters are really basically out for the Spurs. That's what's really scaring me in this spot.
The funny thing is I could totally see Quinn Cook, Alfonso McKinney, Jordan Bell, Jerebko playing the entire 4th quarter.
Right. Yeah, no, I get you. For sure.
That's it.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, 7 games wrapped up real quick. Just knocked it out. Got to it early, man. Today was a fun day of basketball. Really, just hey, man. Every day been a grind. Just trying to get there. Hey, I feel a GPP takedown coming very, very soon. Good night. Oh, hey, Jay, I forgot to tell you. Hey, Draftkings tonight went absolutely bonkers. Had a member finish 4th place in the $20. It was like a single entry he won, I think, like $700 off $20 or something. Very good night in DraftKings tonight. But yeah, hey, if you guys want to play the lineups that we're playing every single day, hey, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. If you just want to read some articles or just, you know, mess with our matchup tool, any of our, you know, ratings, check out all that stuff. Hey, make sure to check it out, dfscheatsheet.com. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Good night. Peace out.